To implement response to intervention, or RTI, in the classroom, the first thing that you need to do is choose a skill that you want to either assess or improve in the classroom. This can be an academic skill, a behavior, or a social emotional skill. Once you know what skill you're going to focus on, then you can choose how to measure that skill. This can be with some kind of test or assessment or progress monitoring tool. Once you decide how you're going to measure that skill, then you're going to have each of your students participate in that measure so that you have a baseline score for your entire classroom. With that baseline data, it's important next that you analyze it. If you can just scan the data to get a sense of how your classroom did, that's great. Even better, if you're comfortable, you can implement that data, put it all into a spreadsheet so that you can analyze it even further. So you can make things like graphs, sort it, just have lots of different ways that you can look at that data. Once you're familiar with your data, then you can decide whether most of your classroom is struggling with that same skill. How did your students do? Did most of them do well on it, or are many of your students in your classroom struggling with that skill? If most of the students are struggling with that skill, then what you need to do next is do some whole class instruction to help your students improve in that skill. If everybody is struggling, it doesn't make sense to make small group interventions. However, if you find that just a few of your students are struggling and that most of the class seems to have mastered the skill, then the next step is to make time for small group instruction with just that select group of students who is struggling with the skill. As you instruct those students in your small group instruction, you're going to want to keep progress monitoring data so that you can see if they're slowly mastering the skill. For those students who have then mastered the skill, you can exit them out of the intervention group back into whole class instruction, and then keep students in the smaller group or individual instruction until they've completely mastered the skill.